podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Well, Arsene Wenger, your boys took a hell of a beating in a very specific sense. Manchester United's unbeaten away season, in spite of playing a full-blown second team, United achieve a feat which I don't remember us ever doing before, of going unbeaten away from home for the entire season.
That's the first time in the club's history, third time in the Premier League era, and fourth time overall. So it's a fairly unique thing. So
yeah,
who would have thunk it, especially with that team out today against Wolves? I mean, when the children were coming on, I mean, they really do look like children. Shola Shoretire, there's no way that lad's 18. He's like 12 max.
What's good about it is you're looking at this and you're going, right, we're one game away from this kind of totally useless and arbitrary, but somehow very fun achievement. So we're playing away from home where we've been very strong, but not a single first team are playing, given that I would think that Dean Henderson is pretty much now not going to play the Europa League final.
No chance.
With fans back for the first time in this whole season, so a completely new dynamic, which we saw affecting the players when the fans were supporting them. And against a team who would have been absolutely desperate to get a win in front of their home fans for the first time in the season, with Nuno having announced his departure. My hot take there, that Nuno wouldn't make it to the end of the season, was incorrect by 0.1 of a minute, because he made it to the end of the season and no further.
Just about.
Yeah, and still somehow we won. What a funny old game.
Very good defensive performance from United, wasn't it? I mean, we spent
it was.
half the season like droning on about mistakes made, and United defended really well. I mean, you could point at Nemanja Matic for Wolves' goal and go, what the hell is he doing on his arse?
Point and laugh as he falls over.
My God, that man gave the ball away so often. He's still got, wait for it, Paul, 2 years left on his contract.
Oh,
just wow. There was some rumours going around that Jose might be interested in taking him to Roma. Please, Jose, please.
Grazie, Jose.
I wonder whether that might have been Juan Mata's last game. I mean, there is an option, and so I wouldn't put it past Ed Woodward to action that option for the year as a parting gift to us.
I mean, presumably, given that he's played about 3 times under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's not going to be staying. I mean, he's still a fantastic option for someone somewhere.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You mentioned it being a good defensive performance, but one of the things that was really noticeable was how a team with kind of Van der Beek, Diallo, Mata, Elanga was really like technical and Matic as well, like technical and good at interchanging passing and all of that kind of stuff.
It was very, very fluid up front. I mean, like, obviously a little bit lightweight. Gave the ball away. Ahmad ran into some blind alleys trying to take on absolutely everybody all of the time. Elanga, good game from him, I thought. You know, he played...
I was really impressed.
Up front, on the right and on the left, which we've seen him do for the under-23s as well. Very, very flexible player, and yeah, only spoilt by Dan James doing a Jeff Thomas going clean through and trying to hit the corner flag.
I suppose that before we mention the several things that Dan James did hilariously wrong, we should talk about the thing he got absolutely spot on, which was a brilliant cross for Ilanga's opening goal.
With his swinger, he's an absolute peach of a cross, that is. I mean, he didn't know he had it in him. He was just hoping, closed his eyes, swung. It was like, wow! Pinged one onto Elanga's head, and Elanga had missed one just before that and put that in nicely, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, if he doesn't have a career at United, but he's got a chance of one, because I think they think highly of him at the club. He will always have that.
I mean, it's lovely, isn't it? Because it is so hard to get a career, that just even to get a start or even to come on as a sub is a big deal for these kids. But to score in a game, Josh Harrop, we were pointed out, was the guy that scored against Palace.
Now playing at Preston North End. Looks like he's got a journeyman career ahead of him. We'll see with some of these kids. They're all very, very highly technical. We saw Hannibal come on, Hannibal Mentry come on.
He looks good.
He's a lovely player. I mean, he so much stick. I mean, reserve refereeing is not of the highest standard, and he just gets kicked all of the time. Got himself sent off the other week as well. So he could do without getting himself a reputation for being a bit fiery, but technically brilliant. I spent a lot of money to bring him from Monaco, and I guess we'll see more of him next season, perhaps.
Well, it's interesting who we will and won't see more of next season. I mean, Amad Diallo, everyone seems to call him Ahmad, so I'll just go with Ahmad. He looked superb again in this game. I mean, you mentioned him taking lots of players on, and he does clearly love to do that. But that ball that he put into Dan James was absolutely wonderful. And just generally speaking, he looks so, I don't know, he just looks ready for the big time, doesn't he? He doesn't look overawed by first-team football in the slightest.
Look, it looks positive for the future. I think I don't know how much we'll see of all these players next season, but they're all very gifted. And I guess the question for the club is, do any of them need to go out on loan? I imagine they won't send Ahmad out, but the others, there's a good option. They'll all get a loan. They didn't give Brandon Williams a loan this season, and it's worked against him. He had an okay game today, Williams.
Absolutely.
We've seen him a couple of times recently, and good for him, but he definitely could do with getting 30 or 40 games next season, which he's not going to because Wan-Bissaka basically never gets a rest.
Well, this is Solskjaer's mode of operation, and given the circumstances that United have been in this season, we'll see how exhausted they look on Wednesday. But, I mean, we've seen moments of kind of big fatigue from the big players, but ultimately it's been very successful playing this kind of first 11 brand of football for the vast majority of the season rather than heavily rotating. So certainly we are not going to suddenly see him, giving Brandon Williams a game at every opportunity next season. So, yeah. I mean,
yes, look, United have finished the season on 74 points and what is it, 12 or 13 points to City? I can't remember, something like that.
They won 5-0 today, I think.
Yeah. Aguero got his departing goal. Good riddance. Aguero, no, get out of here. Anyway, so what? 12 points to City. It's the closest we've been to the title winner since Fergie left. I'm not sure there's an awful lot to be proud about in that, but it has been a season of progress. And given they started the season with those 3 defeats in the first 6 after having 0 prep at all, and they've lost to Leicester and Liverpool in the middle of playing 4 games in 6 days or whatever it was. 74 points is a good number, unbeaten away from home, and it's just all those home defeats are the one big blot as well as the sort of Champions League exit. I mean, we'll do full post-season review next time out, but I think winning today is what I'm trying to say is it's kind of it's been a good season of progress, and I think a lot of it will be defined, of course, by Wednesday's result against Villarreal, but not bad.
I mean, you look at I did think, as you were saying all that, I was like, do you remember how just before the podcast we said we'll do a season review after the next game rather than this one? But it's the end of the Premier League season, isn't it? And that inherently is a thing in and of itself versus the season overall. And from that perspective, you look at Chelsea and Liverpool, who boringly both made the Champions League, but they really left it late to give themselves to kind of make themselves safe. Well, they weren't safe until it was all over. Chelsea in particular, Liverpool only sneaked in there in the penultimate game, but we've been there like most of the season and just kind of breezed to second place, more or less unchallenged for second place. And it's not where we want to be as fans. Obviously, you want United to win the league, but compared to what's gone before, it's I mean, it's just a complete world of difference. And he's built this team that are really, really difficult to beat, not because they're hard to break down or hard to score against. They're just hard to keep down because they just keep getting back up and swinging at you constantly.
And we'll see whether Woodward or Judge or Murtaugh or whatever combination of it, of that can to take us to the next step forward in the summer. And Solskjaer talked about it in his presser after the Fulham game that they're looking to do 2 or 3 deals, and that's what United need, And the finances will be a problem, I'm sure. They don't have to be a problem, but they will be because the Glazers, work back from taking their 25 million out a year in dividends, and then they'll see what's left in the budget. So. And it probably won't be much. They'll do 1 deal, I think, and the rest of them will be cheap or freebies, unless they want to buy us off because they're worried about the protests. We'll see. Anyway, that's we can talk about more in our end of season wrap. But today it felt positive, didn't it? Nice way to end the season.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that Palace game that Harrop scored in last week, and this game really felt like that. Both in terms of the fact that it was just before a Europa League final, but also just it had that vibe. It was just a fun vibe, and they really, they were great. It was a great combination of youth and experience. And I mean, we should talk about Juan Mata, who scored the penalty. A lot of debate about a penalty where a man kicked another man in the ankle.
I mean, yeah, there would be no debate if Donny hadn't tried to take another step.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what made it look like he'd gone down soft. He tried to stay up, and then he didn't, and then he threw himself on the ground. But
while screaming.
Yeah, a lot of screaming. The one good thing about fans being back is maybe we'll hear less of that. A lot of squealing from players, really is. They should deduct points for squealing.
Although this is the thing that I always think, which is that any commentator or pundit or podcaster who complains about the player's reaction to pain should be forced to receive some sort of electrical impulse, which is exactly the amount of pain that the player was in, and then decide whether it was all right if they yelped or not. That's the thing, because it probably hurts getting kicked on your ankle, doesn't it? It's probably quite sore.
I mean, look, once upon a time they used to wear some decent protection, shin pads and ankle protectors, and they don't bother anymore. They all have these super skinny ones, which are basically nothing because they want to feel lightweight, and the boots are nothing as well. They're not like full on leather. They're basically a bit of stitching and some.
It's magic stuff that absorbs the blow and spreads it out across the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Crumple
like holographic
zone.
Or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Crumple zone boots. Van der Beek, I thought was just this is an aside. I thought he was really good today, and I didn't mention him in the players that like knocking it about left and right, but. I mean, if this was the way United played and the team that United generally put out, he'd have been such a good signing.
Well, that's right.
This team really needs him.
Because this team liked playing those 1-2s and playing it into feet, whereas the way Solskjaer has set up his normal team is to play it into space, and Bruno's perfect for that. And all those players who like the ball in front of them, and that's why Bruno's created 85 chances this season. 85! Which is a hell of a lot of chances to create, but Van der Beek just doesn't seem to fit. Systems player they call him. It's just the wrong system for him. So I mean, and it's hard to see him progressing at the club because of that. And
I've seen it.
Solskjaer really doesn't trust him in a 2 typically, and he does feel lightweight in there, doesn't he? Especially with Nemanja Matic alongside him.
I've seen United fans describe him as a nothing-y player, which I just think is so harsh. Because he's not. I mean, and also, I think most United fans just couldn't accurately describe what Donny van der Beek was like as a player, because he just never had a chance to settle into a side. He's, now how many times he's played this season, but it's a very small number of times. I mean, I listened back to our season preview in advance of doing the season review, and we did talk about how he was a really good player, but where he fit in the team was not clear. But we still don't really know. We'll see. We'll see if it improves next season. I'm not holding my breath for that one. But he did well to win the penalty, and then Juan Mata scored it, and that's probably Juan Mata's last Man United goal. You'd imagine,
you'd imagine, yeah. There is the one-way option, as I said. But they're not going to.
Solskjaer doesn't he doesn't want him, does he? He just doesn't want him.
No, it'd be a waste of wages and a waste of Juan Mata. He's got another couple of years in his career, I'd imagine, and he should go play somewhere, shouldn't he? Still some lovely touches in him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, go and play in Spain. Go and be warm enough for the last few years of your career.
Go and play Marbella or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So get some sun, lad.
Exactly. Well, he's from the north, isn't he? So maybe he just wants to go and be in the mountains. Go and play for Real Oviedo or whatever it is.
Fighting bears.
I don't think Juan Mata would fight a bear.
No? He looks like a bear.
I feel like a bear would beat Juan Mata in a fight. Like, I don't think that's an interesting hypothetical, like duck-sized horses and horse-sized ducks. Like, Juan Mata versus a bear. It's just bear all day, every day. Every single person is backing the bear in that situation.
There was a poll I saw in the papers here.
Is it Juan Mata who would win in a fight? Juan Mata or
surveying who thought they could beat what animal in a fight. Turns out a much higher percentage of men than women thought they could take on a bear, which was I did laugh at this poll. I mean, what a pointless use of polling, but yeah, and I think I'm right in saying women only thought they could beat ducks in this list of animals that you could take on in a fight. I mean, it depends what kind of duck, because some geese are pretty vicious, you know.
I mean, a goose and a duck is a different bird species altogether. Like, we're in a different fighty ballpark here.
We're going off on a very strange tangent here.
We're really end of season content there, isn't it?
Yes, it is a little bit. Anyway, so we talked about the Wolves game. We didn't mention the Fulham game, really, and Edison Cavani's goal.
God.
Wow, what a moment that was.
I mean, how perfect is it that fans are back in Old Trafford? I mean, sorry, this is grim, but worth saying. I mean, various people report on this. I was almost sure I heard this. I haven't gone back and listened again, partly because I couldn't face it. United fans booing, players taking the knee. It sounded, didn't last very long. The booing got pretty drowned out by applause, but still, if anyone who thinks that United are just better than other teams when it comes to racism, it's just, I mean, United fans as a collective in the world, obviously there are degrees of these things, but yeah, it was grim and unsurprising.
Yeah, sadly we've seen quite a bit of that. I think they're just massive twats. People are doing that. And you know, the Premier League, I thought had done quite well to try and depoliticize it, to say this is about us standing up against discrimination. And, you know, you kind of understand why they do that. But, you know, whenever I mention something like this on Twitter, for example, a whole bunch of the responses will be, you know, why should we be clapping for these Marxist, socialist, you know, arsonists and that kind of thing, which is obviously why the Premier League as a kind of collective was trying to make it a general sort of little bit wishy-washy statement against discrimination.
Well, you know, you said they've done quite well to depoliticize it, and it's like, I mean, in a way, I know what you mean, but there's also part of me that thinks like it's just a bunch of absolute idiots conflating things. And there's been this big reaction to but anyway, that's whatever.
Anyway, then we saw Edison's goal.
Oh my God. So apart from the fact that some United fans booed players taking a knee in protest against racism, apart from that, it was really nice to have fans back. And the moment at which it was the most nice to have fans back was when David De Gea passed the ball directly to Edison Cavani, who was totally offside. And he...
finest of nick off Bruno's laces. Bruno afterwards was asked. He was like, no, I didn't touch it, but I wasn't going to tell the referee.
Johnny Gabriel putting on Twitter just a picture of Ultra Edge check of
just rock and roll that please.
Just rock and roll that for me, please. There's a flat line there, he's offside, but fortunately we don't have that technology yet in football, and Edinson Cavani is pure rock and roll. What I mean, Listen, this is fairy tale situations. I know the game got really bad and we ended up drawing and it was stupid and pointless. And we only ended up getting second guaranteed because someone else lost that day or drew or something bad happened to someone. But then who cares about any of that? Because that moment in condensed form was so intensely perfect, so narratively profound, so fitting that this player who has been so loved from afar, particularly by, he's widely loved, but I do think there's a specific kind of love for Edinson Cavani from what you would describe as your day in, day out match going Reds. They've really loved him from afar. And the fact that he scored that goal at Old Trafford in the first game that fans were back, would he have tried it in an empty stadium?
I don't know. I mean, it was all instinctive. Saw the keeper off his line, had the skill to lob him. Didn't worry about the flag, as you shouldn't. Play on, lad. I don't know. I mean, it's been a perfect sort of couple of weeks. You know, he's agreed to stay, which is great from a United point of view. Might not stop Ed Woodward trying to spunk 150 million on Harry Dodgy Ankles Kane, but we'll see about that one.
You know Ed Woodward's leaving, right? He's
not until the end of the season. He's, it's Ed the Ego Woodward. He's going to want to go out. End of the year, right. December. Officially, we'll see. Surely he's going to go this summer. But anyway, he signs the contract, Ederson, then scores that goal in front of fans. And there's been a lot of talk about whether he was going to head back to South America, and it seemed like that was it, and Solskjaer talked about it and said they'd try to encourage him, if he scored at Stretford End in front of fans, it would be a much different experience and worth it, and there he goes. He goes and does it as well.
In such style, and he starts running off, just running randomly, and then he hears the sound of the fans and runs towards the quadrant. And there's this incredible shot, and the Sky director held it for way longer than they ever hold a shot, of just him on his knees in front of the kind of join between the Stretford End and the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. I think it was at that end of the ground, right? It's just such a, the Twitter account, One Perfect Shot, from like stills of movies. This was one perfect shot after Edinson's Cavani's one perfect shot. Was it his first touch, or did he knock the ball forward once and then shot?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he might have touched it once. But Bruno
got it under control and then lobbed the keeper. Yeah, I think so.
Bruno had got goal of the season awarded to him before that game. Edinson was clearly looking at it going, bit rude. Got 90 minutes here. Anything could happen. I mean, that is definitely United's goal of the season, right? That competition really did wait for the last home game of the season to be won. And we'll talk about some of the contenders, but I can't think of a better one than that.
No, I can't. I've got to go back and review some of them, I think, before we do our season review later in the week.
Worth saying about that Fulham game, talking of end of season stuff. So fans player of the season, Bruno Fernandes. Very unsurprising. I was very pleased that players player of the season went to Luke Shaw, because we've been talking about how good he's been, and I've been saying for ages I think he actually is with a really good shout of deserving player of the season overall, and I think splitting it between the two is sort of the perfect result, really.
Yeah, great vote in favour of Luke Shaw's progression, isn't it, from the players there, The second time he's been player of the season in the last 3 years or something like that. First one, totally undeserved. This one, well done, Luke Shaw. Didn't believe he had it in him. As we said in the season preview.
Yeah, lots of
left back. We didn't believe he had, yeah.
It's going to need a miracle, I think I said. I said he's not good going forward, he's not good defensively, that's where he's at the moment, and you said that's where he's been at for 6 years, which I think was a little bit harsh. But yeah, a miracle happened, and he's been, I think that was well deserved. I think it's slightly...
Partially at fault for the Fulham goal, of course.
True.
Jogging back as well, saving himself for the final, I'd say.
Appropriately. I think there's something slightly interesting in the players not voting for Bruno. There's something slightly interesting. So they're just absolutely sick of him passing the ball into thin air. Do you think that's what it is? and then him shouting at them for stuff.
Maybe. I imagine he's, in a different way, but a little bit Roy Keane-esque in the dressing room, isn't he? Constantly demanding more.
Yeah. And they're like, right, Luke Shaw never gives us any trouble. Just happy, bombing up and down the left flank, being a lovely lad. United fan.
Shame it's a secret vote. I'd like to see who vote for who.
That'd be really funny to find out. And Bruno got no votes because everyone hates him. A fan threw a green and gold scarf towards Luke Shaw at a corner, was escorted out of the ground. Manhandled out of the ground by stewards. Was facing a lengthy ban, and Luke Shaw's got involved to see if there's anything he can do to help him not get banned. Good lad. Isn't he a good lad?
I mean, when it comes to, voicing... I mean, it wasn't aggressive. He didn't try and attack a player. He's just hoping for Luke Shaw to pick it up, Yeah. Just one of those moments. But, if you voice your protest and you're chucked out of the ground, this is the Glazers rebuilding trust, folks. Sad times.
Tifo made a video about the state of Old Trafford. And if you look at their top pinned comment on their YouTube, it's a really good video. It's well worth watching. The top pinned comment is Manchester United have asked us to say, and then quotes the Joel Glazer letter saying they recognise there's a need to invest in Old Trafford. But yeah, really good video about the dramatic underinvestment. And even maybe I would say gives United slightly too much credit because it talks about the 20 million investment and mentions the 11 million pounds that was spent on improving disabled facilities without saying that was a legally mandated requirement.
So quite, yes, they wouldn't have done it if they didn't have to spend that money. And the rest of the money basically went on, as we talked about before, on executive boxes because they have to keep that to a standard. Otherwise, they will lose some of that corporate sponsorship to other clubs. It's not really about supporting being a fan there. It's about the experience. It's a good video, that one, including the rather amusing bit about Old Trafford's rodent problem. Yeah. And there was me thinking the real rats were Avram, Darcy, Joel, Brian, Edward, and whatever the other. I can never remember the sixth Glazer.
No. So we didn't win that game. I mean, you expressed concern on the last show about the form that United were in going into the final. I had said I won't be too worried if we get 2 wins this week. The fact that the first team did look kind of lethargic against Fulham, I don't know. Maybe it's because a little bit of time has passed. I am not sure that the form of the last few games is going to significantly influence the performance in the final. I tend to think, actually, they're going to be at something approximating their best.
I hope so. I mean, it's hard to magic up that form. The last time we actually saw any good football from the first team was that second half against Milan, I think. Or Roma, yeah. in the first game. So it's a while ago, but they've had a week off. They'll be fresh-ish, except for Harry Maguire, who will almost certainly start and then be outpaced for Villarreal's first goal and then be taken off in the 25th minute.
He's not starting.
You can't. You can't. Anyway, have we got anything more to say about the Fulham Wolves game, or should we talk a little bit, take a mini break and then talk about Villarreal and the final?
There might be more other stuff that we should be saying about those games, but, whatever.
What's the point?
What's the point? They're done. They're games that happened and unbeaten. Having back-to-back losses. Now we're at yet another unbeaten week. And it's massive to go through the season unbeaten away from home, considering the mess we got ourselves into repeatedly away from home. The fact that we've ended up unbeaten is quite remarkable.
All right, well, here's the jingle and we'll come back and talk about Villarreal.
God, people must be sick of those jingles.
They're pretty good. I like our tune.
No, the tune's great. It's the us saying the same thing week in, week out about, follow us on the socials. I don't care. Follow, don't, whatever, do whatever you like. There you go.
Well, we'll record some new ones for next season.
Yeah, definitely.
And you'll notice I chopped all the ads out, so you won't be getting ads at the moment. We kind of decided that we were sick of being like having no control over who advertises on our show.
Yeah,
especially given all the Super League stuff. It's kind of funny. I've been reorganizing the archive. You may have noticed I dumped a few hundred old episodes into your feed. Depending on what app and what settings you've got, you may have got rather a lot of notifications.
Sorry.
Sorry about that, folks. Hopefully it hasn't dumped a load of downloads in. I don't think it will have, but I will put the rest of the archive. So we have 1 to 125 and then 395 to 502 in the archive. Don't count everything because they are maybe slightly out some places.
Listen, we have got 500. This is episode 502, meaning Brian Lara, eat your heart out. Like 502, not out.
That's right.
Can we declare? Are we allowed to stop now?
Something like that. So, Villarreal, kind of interesting side, aren't they? I went back and looked at a lot of their stuff and their stats, and I'd seen those 2 games against Arsenal, or at least the second game. I saw a lot of the second game against Arsenal. They've had a kind of interesting end to the season. Lost a lot of games in La Liga, dropped out of the European places, and got beaten by Real Madrid at the weekend in a game.
I mean, it was close though, right?
Dramatic game. Yeah, 2 goals in the last 3 minutes wasn't enough for Real to win La Liga, obviously. And they're coming into this, I think, much like us, not in obviously great form, but with plenty about them. I think in Gerard Moreno, one of the leading scorers in the top 5 leagues this season. Paco Alcacer. Probably start alongside him in a 4-4-2.
He's played a lot of games in the Europa League and he scored a lot of goals in the Europa League. Unlike he scored as many in the Europa League as he's got in the league, unless he scored at the weekend.
I mean, he had a season for Dortmund where he scored 18 league goals in one season. He's a good quality player.
Yeah.
Who's not had his best season, but they've got plenty of pace there, plenty of flexibility. Neither of them are big lads, are they? And plenty of attacking players. It's hard to say exactly. I couldn't name their 11 exactly because they've played 3 different players at left back this season, so I'm not sure which one they'll pick there. Pau Torres is apparently a player United are looking at. I've seen him, very elegant defender. One of those you look at and go, he would help United beat the press, but would he be bullied a little bit because he's not exactly a big lad, is he? Eto'o Pouet in midfield, you'll remember from his Watford and Spurs days. Watford? He played for? He definitely played for Spurs.
Oh, yeah, no, Watford. And his
too.
endlessly linked to Man United days as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Paco Alcacer was a player who was seriously linked to United for a bit. I mean, everyone was in the Van Gaal era, right? Anyone who was significant.
Anyone who was a player with 2 legs.
Yeah. It's funny because you look at this and you go, "Ooh, scary." It's an opponent, an unknown opponent. They've got a player who scored a lot of goals in the league, and they have, but they've lost a lot of games in a division that I'm not sure is across the board stronger than the Premier League this season to warrant us, who finished second in the Premier League, being afraid of the team that finished 8th, 7th. Seventh in La Liga. Of course, that doesn't mean in a one-off game all sorts of stuff can't go down. It can, and I think that United's worst possible mistake would be focusing on the threats to them and trying to minimise the threats against United versus trying to maximise our threat to them, because United's attacking weaponry is sophisticated and complicated and impressive, I mean, the thing is, as was abundantly clear based on this selection, we didn't talk about this in the Fulham stuff. Fred was particularly egregious, if I remember correctly, against Fulham.
It was dreadful.
Did he give the... No, it's not one where he gave the ball away for the goal, is it? No. But anyway, he had a really bad game. And McTominay hasn't had a good game for months. He has been hiding from the ball. Like he's been when United have got the ball, he's been out of the way to try and avoid himself getting. Like he just doesn't look on it at all. I don't remember his last good game, but it's been a long time.
No, that's right. I mean, it's a massive area of weakness for United, but that's really the one question, isn't it? The two places that are up for grabs are who plays alongside Victor Lindelof in the centre of defence. I mean, Tuanzebe was very good today. Give you a lot of confidence if he played. Eric Bailly might not, but I imagine it'll be Bailly.
He wasn't. Who played against Fulham? Didn't Tuanzebe play that game as well?
Totally
I could be wrong anyway. No, remember. Me too.
No, I think it's Lindelof and Bailly played against Fulham.
Yeah, it was. When he plays Lindelof and Bailly, he plays Bailly on the right and Lindelof on the left, when Lindelof normally plays on the right when he plays with Maguire. It's weird. Yeah.
It's weird and worrying.
Yeah.
I wish I had more confidence in Eric Bailly, because Eric Bailly, I like him. And he's got the tools, but, I mean, I know I say this all the time, but him and Maguire is the best partnership that you can make out of United's current centre-backs. But him and Lindelof is not a good partnership at all. I mean, it's orders of magnitude worse than... I mean, partly because they never, ever play together. Maguire plays every game. So, it takes time to build a partnership, and there isn't much partnership building going on. Whoever plays, whether it's Tuanzebe or Bailly, there's worries in United centre-back position. So what that means is McFred are going to play, because Ole's going to try and protect that area, even though they don't protect the back four. They don't, and they give the ball away, and there's zero progression from those two in central midfield, and it's a massive problem for United. I mean, I would be so much more comfortable with one of McFred playing alongside Pogba, because and even if defensively that's on paper weaker, I'm not sure that it is. And I think it will give us the best tools to get the ball into the right places to cause trouble. Also means that Rashford could play left, which is much better than him playing right. And Mason could also play. I mean, it just feels like a better balanced side if they do that. But I think the chances are very slim.
The thing is, Pogba's been a liability there. I mean, I love Paul Pogba, but and I don't think Pogba is a liability in that position inherently, but he has been, partly because he hasn't played it very much, and he gives away. I mean, he's given away so many penalties, and he gives away free kicks, and this is a big issue. But Fred and McTominay are both a liability. I mean, particularly Fred. McTominay is sort of passive liability. Fred's like a pretty active, like, problem waiting to happen type liability, isn't he?
I mean, the most terrifying thing is Fred, pointing at his own goal, getting the ball from one of the central defenders. It's just, he can't turn. He just can't. He's going to go straight back, and United's going to be in trouble, and it's going to happen at some point during this game. He terrifies me. To channel my inner Mourinho, he terrifies me. And it just feels like too many compromises. It's the compromise there. Pogba's been excellent off the left, but Rashford has not been good off the right. There's like it's almost stronger for United to play Mason Greenwood on the right than to play Rashford, which Rashford's probably going to finish with his best goal scoring. Well, could finish with his best goal scoring season ever, but not when he plays on the right. He doesn't want to cut inside and shoot with his left, and he doesn't want to go outside on the right, and it just feels like he's wasted there.
He still gets goals and assists though wherever he plays, which is. I mean, I agree, but I think it will be McFred, Pogba left, and Rashford right. I think it'll be Bailly and Lindelof, because I think generally speaking, when you think about Solskjaer, what decisions are you going to make? He makes the more conservative, obvious decision. It would appear more often than not. I think it should be you play Pogba and McTominay, because you cannot have Pogba and Fred in that position. That's not a good situation.
No, that's sim of United giving away 20 shots.
So you play Pogba and McTominay, and then Greenwood on the right, Rashford on the left, and Cavani through the middle. However, having said like what we should do, and we don't think it's going to happen, and blah blah blah, typical NQAT negative quality all the time or something. But
high quality analysis are the words that you were thinking of, but didn't come out your mouth.
But what's more positive is to say that even with the compromises that involves, a front four of Cavani, Rashford on the right, Pogba on the left, and Fernandes behind them, with Luke Shaw on the overlap on the left, and Wan-Bissaka being given acres of space to just do whatever he likes nowadays, and being able to use that. I mean, we are going to cause them problems unless we play really badly. And even with Rashford on the right, he does put in at least one absolute peach of a ball per game minimum.
Fewest yellow cards of any of our defenders, Wan-Bissaka, by the way. You know, for a guy
he's really good at tackling.
For a guy who always looks like he's making a last-ditch tackle.
He's just brilliant at them.
He just times it really well. Maguire has 11 and Wan-Bissaka 4. That's because Maguire gets himself into trouble all the time. He's many qualities, but yeah. Anyway, I think you're probably right in your analysis of what it's going to be and how United are going to play, and you know, it's very much can our weapons up front do more damage than our absolute weapons at the back. Did you cause damage to ourselves?
Did you like it when I tried to take it in a positive direction and then you started talking about Harry Maguire's yellow cards within 15 seconds? I mean, let's talk about the damage that we can do them for a bit. Pogba and Fernandes, when they are both playing well in the same game, they are an absolute joy to watch. And Cavani creates so much opportunity for both of them with his movement and, of course, for himself. With his movement, and the quality, the delivery from wide is good. And whether or not you start with Rashford or Greenwood, having the other one to come on is a massive deal. I mean, if we're struggling and he brings Mason on with half an hour to go, if we're 1 goal behind, you know, I'm going to start feeling very optimistic all of a sudden in that moment.
Yeah, look, I feel more confident about this game than I did playing Sevilla last season in the semi-final. For sure.
Is that because we're better?
We're better, and this is not, you know, Villarreal are not as good as that Sevilla side were last season. And, you know, in Albiol and Pau Torres, there's 2 decent players there. Torres could very well be a very good player.
Yeah.
But I think Cavani's, you know, got the physical edge on those 2, even though Cavani's like 90. And we've got a lot of forwards who are going to get into some really good positions because Villarreal push those 2 fullbacks up all the time. I mean, I don't know whether it will be Pedraza or I always get this name wrong. Estupinan, the Ecuadorian left back he was at Tottenham for a while. Who'll play left back, but they do get forward a lot. So there will be spaces behind there for United to exploit.
One of the things that I'd like to know and don't know is whether their keeper's any good and what his particular strengths and weaknesses are. Because I think one of the things that's really good for United is playing against keepers who are not very good against long shots because we're good at them. So, yeah.
Yeah. 1 international cap has Sergio Asenjo.
For Spain?
For Spain in 2016. So, you know.
Right. Can't be that bad. But also, maybe he's not very good. Good analysis. Thanks for listening to an entire season of this. We're going to do a show after the Villarreal game on Wednesday night. Depending on like stuff like whether that game goes to penalties and how late it is because of that and all that, we'll either do a separate show for a season wrap up, or we'll do it at the end of that. We're going to see how and play that one a little bit by ear. Where we'll do all our usuals. We'll give everyone in the squad a rating out of 10. That's going to be really, really, really hard because it's a really hard season to assess. But it's lovely to end the league season on a win, I think, and it's appropriate that we end this season on an away win, which feels like the kind of story of the season in a way. I mean, imagine if United's travelling support had been at all these games and the results had been the same and the way they went is the same. This has been one of the all-time great seasons to follow United around the country. Because the number of times there's nothing better than being away and coming from behind to win the game, right? That is the dream state for any away supporter.
That's right. Well, you know, it's been great to have fans back for the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Hopefully by September we've got, you know, with the vaccination program and and cases down in the UK. Hopefully, we'll have full stadiums by September August when it kicks off again. After all, our players have had all of 3 days off because they go from the final straight into the Euros for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Bruno, please just get yourself a little hamstring twang. Not too serious, just a little one. Go on. Get yourself a summer off.
But the thing is, the two players we most need to have summer off are Rashford and Bruno, the two players who would least be prepared to even think about it. Do you know what I mean? Like the two players they're probably the two players in our squad who most want to win the Euros out of everyone. Anyway. I guess there's a few players who'll get a rest, but not that many. We will get a rest though, because we're not doing Euros coverage because I can't.
I think you're going to cave. I think you're going to cave. You're going to go, I want to do it. Daily hour pod.
If my life was structured differently, Ed, that would be an absolute delight. But I'm not sure that's an option, sadly. But yeah, we'll talk more about this next on the next show. But a massive thanks to everyone for listening throughout this season. It's just been the weirdest season. But yeah, having fans back is reinvigorating. You know, it's like it just makes a world of difference. That, you know, that big thing that's been there the whole time, saying football without the fans is nothing. It's really, there's something very profoundly true about that. Like, it's so rubbish without fans there and so much better with fans there.
Yes. So, yeah. Unless you're Joel Glazer and you'd really rather there weren't any.
I mean, there was a lot of protests. I mean, there's, you know, I mentioned this on the show last week. There's lots of infighting between United fans online about whether or not you should go to these games. I mean, that's been going on very literally since 2005, and some people set up their own football club as a result of that particular discussion. But you know, there were lots of anti-Glazer chants, lots of anti-Glazer not banners, but like little signs being held up, and you know, that's inevitable, and we'll hopefully see a lot more of that next season, and hopefully we'll see some action from the government on at least an independent regulator, or I mean, I think that's what it's going to be, isn't it? And whether they've got any teeth or not, we shall see. So
we'll see. That's some way down the line. I mean, the panel that is running the task force or the inquiry that Tracy Crouch is leading has only just been formed, so I imagine that is going to take quite some time. A fan-led review with no fans leading the panel, which is kind of interesting. But there's been a call this week from major personalities in football, including Gary Neville, for an independent regulator. I think the question I always have with that is, what's the job of a regulator? You know, it's two things, right? It's to level the playing field between supply and demand, or between supply and supply, typically, right? You're trying to, so what is the goal of a regulator here? Is it to, if that came in, is it to make sure the interest of fans is upheld? Is it to make sure the interest of clubs is upheld, or between clubs? Is it about the balance between broadcast rights and competition for that? You know, all of that can come into play. I mean, we've just seen the Premier League roll over its contract. That's pretty anti-competitive, although you can understand exactly why they've done it. So no bidding process for the next 3-year cycle. If I was a broadcaster interested in getting in there, I didn't get a chance to do it. So should a regulator look at that? Is this about ticket prices? Is this about some kind of fairer distribution of money throughout the leagues? Because if I was, I'm not saying I believe this argument, but if I was Manchester United going to that inquiry, I'd go, well, hang on a minute. If you look at the viewing figures for the big six, quote unquote, and especially Manchester United, it's not a very equitable distribution of money. United should have way, way more. You know? And so like all these will come into play. So that'll be part of the inquiry. We'll see what the report looks like, and whether if the recommendation that comes out of that is a regulator, what kind of mandate and teeth does it really have? Sometimes you want to be careful what you wish for.
Absolutely. And And the thing is, what fans want is meaningful fan representation. I don't know if we mentioned this. Joel Glazer attending the fans forum on the 4th of June.
That will be fun.
Yeah.
I imagine very controlled and sanitized fans forum.
Absolutely. Not like the old days when Arsenal, do you remember the Arsenal AGMs? I don't think it's going to be like that.
The best entertainment Arsenal have produced in years, those were.
Oh, they're so close to finishing above Spurs in hilarious fashion today, but we'll talk about that on the backers content, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. See, it will
anyway, did we mention last week Casey Stoney stepping down as
at length?
We did.
Ed, at length.
Yes, I can. I can't remember what I said from day to day, let alone a week between pods. Yeah, no announcement on a replacement for Casey Stoney. Some worrying noises coming out of this. I mean, it looks almost certain that Preston Tobin Heath are not going to be returning. It's just a 1-year loan. And perhaps Lauren James, very talented forward, might be going to Chelsea. We'll see about all of that.
I've always thought that's where she's going to end up, given that that's where her brother plays and, all that stuff. And she's really good. Chelsea got absolutely battered in the Champions League final, didn't they? But
they did.
Again, by a team that look on a different planet. But yeah, anyway, wouldn't know anything about what it's like to be battered by a Barcelona that look like a team from another planet in a Champions League final. On that note, here's looking forward to the Europa League final. What is your prediction for this game?
2-0 win for United. Come on, you Reds. I think Marouane Fellaini and Henrik Mkhitaryan.
There's absolutely no chance we win this game 2-0. Because the only way we're going to win this game is by going behind. I predict we're going to go 1-0 down within the first 25 minutes and win the game 3-1. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, come on, let's go lift that trophy. We're like Europa League masters.
Yeah, I imagine. But not next season until February, when we'll be back in it.
Oh dear. Well, the Europa Conference starts next season. At least there's no chance we'll be in that.
No, isn't there?
But
you
Spurs
told me there's
will.
a cascade. You told me there's a cascade. You can get from all the way from the. Can you get all the way from the Champions?
Not in one season. No. You can't drop
right.
out of the group stage into the Europa and then out into the. It's knockout rounds after that. But
right,
there is, it's kind of. I think people are down on the conference, and I am. It's a stupid tournament that really should have Arsenal in it. But we'll have Tottenham in it. But it's going to be. It's interesting how it's structured. It's there's like one place per country. So it's going to give European football to a lot more teams that wouldn't normally have had it, but a load of very average teams from some of the big leagues.
What's funny is that it's called the conference, right? Which is just it's such a loaded word in the UK when it comes to football. But anyway, all right. Patreon backers, stay tuned for us to talk about a load of football stuff. Everyone else will see you after the Villarreal game. What a massive game! I mean, I feel like we haven't quite done enough build up, considering it's a European final. But I'm really excited. I'm really genuinely absolutely buzzing for this one. I think it's really exciting. How exciting is it? United finishing the season with a European final. That just doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's happened twice in the last decade.
Yeah.
So,
they don't come around very often.
No.
It is a big deal. It may be the lesser of the two competitions, and unfortunately, City may go and win the big one. I'm not going to think about that one.
Someone bad's going to win the big one.
Someone bad is going to win the big one. But, it's real football, isn't it, the Europa? It's like the EFL. Real football where none of that fancy Dan stuff. Anyway, come on, United. I think we're going to win it. It's going to be great. It is in Gdansk, so they didn't move it like the Champions League final. Are there fans going to this? Are there anyone from the UK going to make it to Poland?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I heard talk about that and people trying to help United fans get there and stuff. But yeah, if you are going, have an amazing time. Stay safe.
Be worth the 14-day quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. Until we lose in extra time. Anyway, no, never mind. No, we're going to win. I'm feeling good about it. I feel good about it. I think goals from Fernandes and someone different. Fernandes, McTominay, and Greenwood. There you go.
Good. Well, Fernandes one pen has to be on there somewhere, doesn't
Absolutely,
it?
Yeah.
And Edison to round off
Oh,
round off
yeah.
what's been a very good end to the season, surely.
Yeah, right. And we'll go with Fernandes, Edinson and Greenwood then in that case. All right, thanks everyone. Take good care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.
Have a great one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.